As kids, we're taught the phrase the more, the merrier. And when it comes to parties or meetups, that probably could be applicable. But when it comes to making progress in an organization or obtaining paying clients, it's really the more, the barrier. Okay, welcome to another episode of Self Employed Success Secret Edition with me. On today's episode, we're going to talk about how when it comes to making progress in what you're doing inside your organization, it's the more, the barrier. Keep this in mind. Okay, let's start off with an example. Recently got done working with a company where I got them by cold calling. So I'd gone through an extended period. I went through probably a couple months of cold calling these people, and one guy gave me a chance, and I was just like, okay, cool, let's do it. But then he wanted me to do the work for somebody else. Keep this in mind. Remember, this is today's secret. The more, the barrier. Also, to stay tuned for the very end for a surprise, is that I had to work with this lady, but I had to go through him. And then whenever I try to do anything with, like, whenever I try to talk to her directly, I had to go through him. So I had to go through him to get to her, and I had to go through her to get to him. And it was just like, it was very confusing. It was a morass. And it was just like, it just taught me that the more, the better. It taught me two things. Don't ever outsource. Don't ever be like a pseudo employee for somebody else. Like, go get your own clients. It also taught me that the more people are involved in like a selling decision, the more of a barrier there is to getting paid. This is the biggest problem that companies have, or being self-employed people have, is that getting clients. And so the more people that are in it, the more less likely you're going to get something out of it. And so what's the solution to this? The solution to this is, when you're offering what you're doing to somebody else, make sure it's the head, it's the top person, it's the owner of the business. And this is why it's good to go to networking events by yourself, and just talk to them, because most of them are going to be from their own company. You don't want to talk to a representative, you don't want to talk to a receptionist. You want to talk to someone who is in control of signing these checks and doing what needs to be done to move it forward. Okay, remember, the more, the barrier. Okay, and this is very common. If you try to reach out to a company and you've got to go through the security desk, you got to go through HR, you got to go through this, the more barriers are up, the less likely you are to get what you want. So that's the first part. Okay, remember, this only relates to getting clients and progress in your business. Okay, obviously you're going to have a resistance in anything that you do that's worthy. We made a video about that a few weeks ago. This is more about getting paid and then making progress. Okay, next part, let's go to the progress part. Okay, as you've probably seen at work or school, there's people where, you'll see that if you have a group of 8 people, there's 2 people doing all the work. If you have a group of 9 people, there's 3 people doing all the work. And so this secret relates to this, is because the more people are involved in getting something done, the less likely it is to move fast, the less likely it is to flit. Okay, and that's why you want small teams as much as possible. Being self-employed, that example where I was working with 3 people, well, 2 other people, 3 including myself, is that if I was just working one-on-one with someone, it'd be super fast. And that's what you want to get to, is like making the teams as small as possible, so that way you can move quickly and get things done. The more people you add, the more cooks in the kitchen, the more complicated everything gets, the more communication gets sullied, and the more just kind of, competition and collaboration, they kind of fight. And so you just want to keep that in mind as you're trying to make progress in what you're doing, and keeping the focus the main thing, which is doing a good job. That's the main thing, is doing a good job. But when you got so many people, the communication gets messed up. The camaraderie can get messed up, because you got people that are working well together. You bring somebody else, and it's just that you want to keep it as small as possible. When it comes to getting work done, keep the feedback loop is just 1-to-1. Like, I'm going from one person to another person instead of I have to go to this person and then that person. This person has to go to that person. That bureaucracy can deter greatly, can stymie what you're trying to get done. So when it comes to getting clients, the more the barrier. Okay, and progress in your business, the more the barrier. The more people that you have to work with to sell your product, the more the barrier is, the less likely you are to get paid. The more people you have to work with in a group, the more complicated it's going to be getting things done, the more complicated confusion is going to be, the more confusion there's going to be, the more competition sometimes. And so you really want to think about that. This is just something that I've learned, is that everyone thinks different, has different values, and that's fine. But the more people, especially if they're not like-minded, who come in your space, it can deter what you do. But just remember on this Thanksgiving that when it comes to parties and holiday fun, maybe the more the merrier. But when it comes to getting clients and getting things done, it's the more the barrier. Okay, remember that money is the nexus between having fun and getting things done. If you don't work and earn money, you won't be able to do a lot of stuff that you want to do. And this tip on this video, the more the barrier is going to help you get paid from people you want to work with in your self-employment venture. Okay, the more people you have to go through, the more of a barrier is going to put up to you getting paid and having a good life, okay? And also the same goes true for any progress you want to make. The more people are involved, usually the less progress you're going to make. And so try to make things as fast as possible, working with as few people as you need to accomplish a given task. And now to today's surprise is that taking action and results is all that really matters, okay? So hopefully you can get something from this video and you can take action and get some results from it. You can get results from this. You can test it and try everything I talk about in these videos and see if they work. And lastly, as always, unsuccessful people make decisions based on their current situation, but successful people make decisions based on where they want to be, okay?